Hi everybody, it's a cool August morning, mid-August, and you joined me on my way to BikeSafe in Northampton. So it's a day I've been looking forward to for probably 6 months now actually. So when I was at the Motorcycle Live event last year, when I was researching the bike and talking to people about training and so forth, I went and met the National BikeSafe people on their stand and had a really good chat, sat through one of their talks, enjoyed that and thought something I'd like to do. And at the same time, you'll probably, if you've been following my story, you'll know I also signed up for the IM deal, the £99 deal, which they offer I think most years at Motorcycle Live. That was a steal really. But I signed up for Motorcycle Live, and because there's always a bit of a backlog with these things, and I think because most of the events tend to take place during the summer, then I've done it slightly out of order, because I think the idea is normally that BikeSafe would be a sort of a catchment net really for trying to encourage people into doing an advanced riding course. So of course I'm up to my 9th advanced ride now, and I've had a lot of input from Dale. Now that said, if you follow my story, you know I'm not the finished article. Certainly better than I was. Certainly improved, but a long way to go for the standard. So for me, my standard is I want to be able to ride like a Class 1 police biker. So today I've got the opportunity to actually witness that and spend some time with the boys and possibly girls who inhabit the very thin blue line here in the UK, and show these people some respect and also learn what I can from them. So very much looking forward to today. So heading into Northants Police H-Quarters now. I'll have the normal helmet mounted camera on, and I've also taken a tip from Dale. I've actually mounted my rear camera now facing backwards, so hopefully I can get some film of the police officer who's following me as well. So hopefully I will be able to film today, I hope so. And hopefully put together a bit of a video for you to enjoy, so I hope you enjoy it. Speed first, then gear, Neil, today. 2-second rule. So what did I make of BikeSafe then? It was a shame I couldn't video it really, but you've got to understand there's a set of sort of checks and balances in place, corporate governance as they call it these days. So the officers on the day were quite sympathetic, but unfortunately nothing they could do really, so I wasn't able to film. But I just thought I'd like to give you just a few reflections on the day. So 4 of us in the class, 4 riders, and two observers, 2 guys who came from the Leicestershire Roads Policing Unit. It's a shame actually, Northants actually doesn't have any of its own police bikers. Apparently it's got the bikes but hasn't got the bikers, just due to budget cuts really and rationalisation. So the guys in Leicestershire cover Northants, and these guys' day job is normally They both were qualified at sort of county and national escort level. Two really nice guys, and loads of experience, really enthusiastic about what they were doing. So the first hour and a half is sitting in the classroom, essentially watching an hour and a half of people crashing in sort of video, and trying to work out why it happened and what you can do, and various situations, junctions and corners, and filtering and overtaking, and basically just trying to sort of dip your toe in absolutely everything, really. So so you get like a little sort of glimpse of everything, really, and it's, I think, designed to really make you think and make you really think about the way you ride, and particularly with your observation and positioning and speed and gears and so forth. So we got a quick sort of I don't know, 30 seconds really of IPSCA, the information, position, speed, gear, acceleration, that the police use as the cornerstone of roadcraft, but as you'll know is also part of the IM, I think, and ROSPA as well. So a quick glimpse of that, and then basically out onto the road then. So 2 bikers per observer, and we set off north out of Northampton through the town actually, and the idea is that each observee, if you will, each candidate gets to lead for 20 minutes, then the officer pulls you over, gives you feedback, and then you swap round. So part of the time I'm following a police bike, and part of the time I'm actually leading. So it's great just to see the way these guys ride, and just the presence as well, not just because of the reflective gear and the marked bikes, but just the way they ride, you know, and just a real privilege really to be out with them. So I paid £40 for the day. Who would it be for? Who would I recommend it for? So obviously I'm sort of 9 sessions into IM, and I mean, I don't need to tell you about my standard of riding, because you'll have formed your own opinion on that really, but I've got to say I found it useful. It was great just to understand the way the police officers think. For them, what are the absolutes and what are the variables in terms of you know, sort of speed limits and sensible riding and so forth, and just their thinking processes really, and their sort of thoughts on the modern roads. For example, you know, they would say that the roads, in their opinion, now are a lot more dangerous than they were 20 years ago. They said they're a lot busier, and one of the major factors now is just because of the levels of foreign traffic on the road now, where you know, anybody can come and live in this country from the European Union, and they don't have to pass a test. You know, so for 12 months they can just essentially drive without having a British driving licence. So standards of driving are very variable on the British roads these days, which gives them all kinds of problems. As I say, it was just interesting really, sort of understanding their thoughts. So back to who should go on it, I would say definitely if you've never subscribed to an advanced driving course, then I would say RoadSafe is definitely worth the day, and worth 40 quid of your money. You know, you'll pick up an awful lot on it actually. It was interesting, they didn't really sort of push IM or ROSPA on the day. I mean, there was just a little mention on a couple of the slides, but it didn't really come out. So I've given them a little bit of feedback about that maybe one of the things they want to do is maybe just encourage people, maybe even sort of hand out leaflets for those, so people where to go for next steps. So it was interesting that a couple of the people on the BikeSafe course were actually there. They'd come a year ago, and they were there as a repeat, almost like as a refresher or a top-up. And to me, those kind of people it would be far better if they sort of signed up for IM really, and you know, got some sort of constant input over, you know, every sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and went out and practiced. But I guess to each his own. But as I say, for me, I took a lot from it. I was really curious. I thought it was going to make a good film actually. I was disappointed I couldn't film it, so apologies for that, but nothing could be done really. Yeah, what did I learn? So they give you a feedback sheet, and I'm not going to hide anything from you. You can basically be marked as an A, a B, a C or a D, and I got straight C's for absolutely everything. So it's a bit like Mrs. Topping used to give me in geography, sort of 6 out of 10 could do better. But what the guy called Daz, who was actually my observer, was saying, actually said, you've got all the basics in place, Neil. You know, he said everything is safe. It's just some things you can tighten up on. And the things you wanted to tighten up on, really, surprise, surprise, were the right-handers cutting in. The fact that maybe I'm not reading speed limits ahead, I'm not reading the situation ahead as well as I could do. You know, so for example, you know, I went into one of the 30s a little bit hot, which he said, you know, as an advanced rider, you should really be noticing things like that. What else? Lifesavers coming off roundabouts as well. That was another one. I think what he called, if I can remember rightly, something like a check, an indicator check. So in other words, you're sort of indicating, but you're actually checking in the sort of left-hand blind spot as you're exiting the roundabout. I'd also had a bit of a problem as well with finding a sort of a false neutral, false first gear when I'm pulled up at lights. And what's been happening is I've been pulling up at traffic lights in town, and you know, according to my new sort of way of being trained now, obviously wanting to go into to neutral, which I've done, but I've not been releasing the clutch. And he was winding me up about this. He was saying, you know, you sort of, you go into neutral, but you don't release the clutch, and of course then, because you don't release the clutch is still spinning apparently, and then it's actually sometimes hard to actually find first gear. So I found myself in one situation where the lights had turned green, I wanted to pull away, but wasn't able to because of that. So he's cured that one for me. And the other tip he gave me on right-handers, which is really simple actually, and I think it does actually help, I've started to do it, is just like I've got a white line down the side of the motorway here, is actually on the right-hander just simply to follow the white line until the white line, funnily enough, throws you out at the end of the right-hander and then actually brings you very naturally then into a left-hander that you're actually going into. So it's very simple as a guide. So it's something I've been trying to do. So yeah, so I did learn something. I didn't really hear, apart from the advice on the clutch, I didn't really hear anything new, to be honest, on the day. But it was just good to be amongst like-minded people and take from them, you know, their sort of passion for what they do, and you know, just their sort of war stories really, and all their experience. So as I say, I'd thoroughly recommend it. You know, if you haven't done it, you know, sign up for it, give it a go. But also consider that, you know, you might want to think about then going in for IM as well. So now I've done BikeSafe, I'm obviously part way through my IM. I've done the biker down course, so I guess I've sort of ticked all those boxes, if you will. And obviously still working on IM. So there you go. So that was BikeSafe. So gets the back to the bike seal of approval. Hope you enjoy the video and let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so that's back to the bike signing off. Just put a little bit of film up here, just showing me coming out of the Police Northants HQ, following our sort of two observers for the day, and it was just a privilege to be amongst them. So just a public thank you from me back to the bike to Leicestershire and Northants Police for actually facilitating that, putting it on. A great day out, really good company, and full respect to these you know, guys and ladies, you know, who basically form this very, very thin blue line that we have now. But they're out there doing a dangerous job, you know, with massive budget cuts, and full respect to them. So thank you to you gentlemen. You know who you are.